I mean, it could be a little controversial, is that during the matches, when we were traveling with the team, Navjot Sidhu would score 100 in the previous match. He'll be the informed batsman. And the next game, he would sit out of the match. I mean, the captain and the entire team looked up to Sidhu to play, but he would have got some injury. And then the players used to tell us he goes by his astrology. If the astrologer says it's a bad day, so that day he will not play. So that way, there will be a lot of trouble within the Indian team. I know that because I was part of that. And players used to come and say, Sidhu scored up 100 in the previous match, but he's now saying he's got some back pain, he's got light fever, and somehow he stays out. But he used to go by what his astrology used to say. So that is what I have seen, and I've always felt the team was depending on him, and the informed batsman pulling out of the match on the morning of the game. So that used to be one aspect which used to always impact our cricket team, especially our performances. Now, coming to other aspects like talking about Tendulkar. When you talk about Tendulkar putting on his left pads, most batsmen do that. And Tendulkar had the thing of putting a red thing inside his pads. That he used to put it a cushion and then wear his pads. Because I have had this privilege of being inside his room before a test match. And the way nobody knows how he prepares for a test match. He's in a zone. His room becomes a sanctum sanctorum, and he's in a zone. And then he lays out his dresses for each day. That is from his the whites to everything that he needs for the game. From the socks to everything is laid out for each day. So that's a ritual he's gone through. And in his box, that is the cricket coffin, we call that, he used to have the pictures of his of the goddess and gods that deities he believes in, used to respect. So I've seen that, and the more bizarre thing that I've experienced on a television show was I was sitting with an astrologer and a numerologist, and this was the time when Sachin was not scoring his 100th 100. So the huge debate going around the country, everywhere, talking about why Sachin is not scoring his 100th 100. So I happened to be between a numerologist and an astrologer. The funny thing was the astrologer believes that Sachin Tendulkar's house number is something problem with the house number. He says there could be a problem with that. So we had a laugh at that. And the numerologist, he went even more further. He says, no, even his phone number is an issue there. So he was asking the anchor, is there any way you can get Sachin's number so that he could, So we were breaking out and laughing. So you can imagine, Sachin is such
Sachin Tendulkar, the god of cricket.
God of cricket, and these two guys out there are talking about saying that, the house number is not proper, his phone number is not correct, and all this stuff. These are things which I have seen, and the most thing that I feel funny about the CSK is their worry is to play cricket. Why is their CEO, Kashi Vishwanathan is a good friend of mine. I was quite surprised to read what he had exchanged with the board. Well,
apparently that we haven't put out on our show, Joseph Hoover, because that was fact-checked later to be a false, fake complaint. That there was no such official complaint which went in from the CSK side. But nonetheless, that video, we're going to put that out that you are referring to. And Nikhil Sharma, Joseph Hoover has these interesting stories that he's just shared with us. But it's not just the players, not just the sportsmen, even the fans feel that they are going to be part of the spectacle, that their actions are going to be having some kind of an impact on the outcome of this game itself. And we've seen so many of them at home as well. But Nikhil Sharma, why? How does this really work? When we play out that visual, we're going to play out that visual of that fan with that Nimbu doing that. What do you make of it? Now, I'm not a big believer when it comes to black magic, but this, can this just be sheer coincidence?
Meghna, I think Indian fans should know, growing up, we were not allowed to move from seats.
Yes.
Somebody was playing well. We'd not be allowed to take a washroom break. Doesn't matter what was happening. Now, is that all scientific? It is not. Unfortunately, kudos to the man. He's got his moment in the sun. He did something. They got the wicket. The guy, is become famous. He was being shot. Brilliant. Does it work? No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, that's my belief. And I think 99% of people, 99.9% of people who've played sport, who've been involved with sport at certain levels, especially the higher level, know all of this has little to no impact. Yes, you could be a believer, right? You could have the best of the best are so obsessed with their craft that they have certain ways of the way they want to play sport. You look at Djokovic. He'll tap the ball with his racket 6, 7 times, then bounce the ball 11, 12 times. That's a long time. But all that he's looking to do, Meghna, is not that he's trying to evoke some gods. He's trying to be one with his thoughts because, at this level, rituals basically help you center up. Not just Rafa Nadal with his bottles, You go watch him before a serve. The amount of work that he does, he will tuck his hair in, adjust his undergarments, pull his shorts out, something or the other. It is just that's something that he's been following forever. It helps him center. And from there on, he's only focused on the sport. We've had a lot of people. Yes, there are certain superstitions. But believe you me, the best of the best of the best always understand that ultimately it's the performance on the ground. In Africa, we've seen so much of witchcraft, voodoo. Paul Pogba has spoken about it. AFCON Nations Finals, people have said that, because something like that happened, we've lost the game. But in the end, I do believe that, IPL today, in today's time and age, is become such a huge sportainment. It's no longer the cricket of old. A lot of times, I'm sure Joseph thinks like that as well. We talk about, the good old charm of the sport has gone. I do believe it's no longer just a sport, right? A lot of people who come in, who watch, it's an evening out or evening at home being enjoyed either with friends, family, all by themselves. It's their time off. So it's not necessarily the cricket of old. Do we as purists like it? Not necessarily, but it's also the sport belongs to everyone. So I don't think. Kudos to the guy. He's got his two seconds of fame. But no, these are all things that happen, and Shivam Dube is always going to go for it.
Oh, Shivam Dube would have gone for it anyways. Would have happened despite this Nimbu Mirchi Act, which was pulled off. Well, of course, we have a non-believer in Nikhil Sharma, perhaps Joseph Hoover as well. But at the end of
going to be a non-believer as well.
Every athlete, every sports star, and even the fans feel what they do, whether they get up from that seat or not, is going to have an impact on the game. Go figure. I can't possibly decode that one. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Nikhil, as well as Joseph Hoover, for joining us here on the show. Since we were talking about Djokovic, what better way to end it? Well, the nominees, top athletes, global sports personality, all of them had arrived in Madrid last night for the 26th Laureus World Sports Awards of 2026, one of the most prestigious celebrations in global sports. The red carpet arrivals took place. In fact, it brought together elite figures from football, tennis, athletics, and major sporting disciplines. This is what none other than the world-famous Novak Djokovic had to say exclusively as he spoke to Times Now's Karishma Singh. Enjoy this as I take your leave.
Well, joining us is 24-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic. Novak, for the first time ever, the Laureus Awards are being broadcast on Times Now in India. You have a huge, huge fan following in India. What would your message be to all your fans in India?
My message is always love, respect, appreciation for, first of all the support over the years that I personally been receiving from all the Indian tennis fans and India sports fans around the world. There's so many that I've been meeting all this time. And my message would also be, see you very soon in India, because I need to go to India. I've been feeling a calling to come for the last couple of years. So I really hope that I'll be able to come to India and do an event, play a match or whatever it is. I really wish for that, because I feel very close to Indian people.
And you do have a special connect with one Indian athlete. You know who I'm talking about. We've seen the social media exchanges as well. Virat Kohli.
Yes.
So, tell us a little about that as well.
Yes, Virat is a friend and someone I, of course, respect and admire. excuse me, he's actually, to be honest, the reason why I started following cricket. I haven't followed it, so through him I started following it more, and we keep in touch, and hopefully when I come, I don't want to say if, when I come to India, hopefully he can join, and then we could do a little bit of tennis, a little bit of cricket, and have fun, and just spread positive, good vibes with people and celebrate sport.
And Novak, you've been playing so well, 24-time Grand Slam champion, like I said, looking forward to LA 2028 as well. I
am looking forward to it. I think it's a very long way, 2 years for me at this stage of my career in life, but you never know. I'm working, there's no greater honor than representing Serbia, my country, in Olympics, so hopefully I'll be able to do that.
And final question, what do you think about the rivalry then between you, Nadal, and Federer, to now between Carlos, Sinner?
It's different. I think the rivalry between Sinner and Alcaraz is also great, unique in its own way, but for me, let's say the big three, it always remains the greatest.
Thank you, Novak, for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.